Father, I pray that your word will speak to our hearts, help to guide us through our lives, and help us to remember your Son more clearly. Amen. Amen. If you have ever worked with a mule, you understand that you make a mistake, it's okay, but you don't want to make a mistake that's going to hurt him. If you do, they never forget. And if he doesn't get revenge at that particular point in time, watch out. Because he will, eventually. He will not forget. And you will walk away with a bloody shin or a bruised thigh or maybe some broken ribs because they remember it. That's history, folks. They remember what you did and how you did it. And what you try to do is, if you do make a mistake, you correct it at that time and you build on the positive, and you don't forget what you did wrong so you don't keep re-going there time after time. Because if you do, what does that make? It just makes more mistakes and continues to get worse. We first observed Memorial Day, and there was a big argument about this way back when, but they finally figured out that in 1866 it was called the Decoration Day. It's for those who gave their lives for freedom, and they decorated the graves of the Union soldiers. Now, even though people argued over where it started, they finally came to a consensus that it started in Waterloo, New York, because in 1865, the people there went out and decorated those first. Okay, so I guess it was an argument of who done what first. It really doesn't matter who did what first, but what matters is that we remember why we do what we do. You know, what's strange is that our federal government seems to think that it has the power to make final decisions for everyone. And yet, the truth is, history is what it is, and you can't change it. No matter how much they want to, and we're seeing more and more of that as we go on in life, they want to disallow certain things of our history, but folks, it's history. It happened. And the importance of our history is it happened, and if it wasn't right, we corrected it and we moved on. But we don't want to forget what we did wrong, or we'll continue to revisit that time after time. So that's one of the things that we look at on Memorial Day. We know that through the blood of patriots, our freedoms lie. Amen. It's not through our government or through our leaders. It's through those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. September 9th. September 11th. When we were bombed on our own soil. Brought to light about how the first responders and those who dealt with that were also then remembered on Memorial Day. In 1966, the government made it a federal holiday. But right now, I want everyone, either you were a first responder, reserve, a veteran, active duty or not, I would like for you to stand and come forward, please. I want to thank you all for your service, for your dedication, putting yourself out there on the front line for strangers, for people you don't know, you don't care for, but you did it because that was what you did. And I personally want to thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Jeremy. Bill, thank you. Mike, thank you. Pam, thank you. Thank you for your service and for your dedication. Rich, thank you. Angel, thank you. Rick, thank you.
And thank you, Randy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
For all
I
that you-
appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you. It is so important that we don't forget the sacrifices. This is a day to remember those 655,000 plus who have died in battle. It's a day that we remember 538,000 plus who died from other causes while serving in the military. We also honor the 1,474,000 plus that have been wounded and maimed on the behalf of freedom. If we don't continue to honor and we don't continue to remember why we celebrate this weekend, history has no value. And our country loses its freedoms. It's good to reflect upon these things as part of the past. These sacrifices, the commitments. We also want to do it as part of our worship. You know, when we worship God, we take time and we look at history. Because a lot of our history is written right here in this book. Of who we are, where we came from, and what God expects from us. In John 15, 12 through 13, it says this. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one